Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. I told you in the previous episode that there was more to the story, but I didn't want to just sit here and take up all your guys' time. So continue from that story from yesterday. Like I said, some of them youngsters, after everything was settled, they were politicking about not letting other races come to the sweat lodge. But a lot of the older natives had issues with that. Because, you know, the Native American religion is inclusive. It welcomes everybody. If you believe in the spirit and all the stuff that they're doing, you're welcome to it. It's not limited to somebody of a Native American bloodline, you know? And the older ones know that to have people understand your religion, to expose other people to your religion, you have to always be like a missionary yourself, to invite people to your ceremonies, to show them the good and all the things that you believe in. It's every religion. They're always trying to convert. So when these youngsters were like, oh, we're not going to allow these people here, these people there, like that, it caused a little friction between the Native Americans. And one of the loudest voice at that time that wanted to ban other races to come participate in the sweat lodge was a dude named Stick from a Native Mob. I don't know anything about any Native Mob, their organizations or anything like that. Being in Florence was the first time I've ever been exposed to them. You know, I've been out on the West Coast. I think the Native Mob originated out of Minnesota. And in the state, in Minnesota, they're known, and now a lot of them are starting to enter the feds, so their name is starting to pick up in the feds. With this dude named Stick, he's from this gang, Native Mob. And he was a very loud voice in trying to ban everybody from coming to the sweat lodge. But every day, when he's on a yard walking around, you know, the times that I do see him, I don't really interact with him because for me, when someone's loud and boisterous, I always feel like they're being loud and boisterous as a distraction to have you look here so you don't really see what's going on over here. So he portrayed himself like he was some type of gangster, had a voice, and I don't know what kind of clout or status he had amongst the Native community at that time. But like I said, I'm not privy to all their politics until they share it with me. If they don't share it with me, I don't ask, don't care, go on about my business and do my time. So this dude Stick, like I was saying, bump his gum like what Jay-Z said, loud as a motorbike, but won't bust a grape in a food fight or some shit like that. But when he was there was only one other Native Mob dude named Stone. And we can get into all that down the road. But for this video, we're just gonna keep it right here. And so there was like 2 or 3 Native Mobs that was on the yard at that time. But a few more came on the line. And that is 2 youngsters that came on the line. So a few days after the incident that we had with the Texas inmate, not the Texas inmate, but with that dude Solo, they find out, I wasn't there, but I'm in the unit and the deuces go off. And we're looking out the window. We can't really see, you know, from my unit, because the yard is over here. There's B unit, C unit. Then when you come all the way down the walk, then there's D unit where I live. Then you turn the corner and it's E block. So I live here. The yard's up here. When you look out the window, you know, me having bad eyesight as I do, you kind of pick out what race, what color people involved in that, that the police are cuffing up and all that stuff. But, it's a distance away. So whatever happened on the yard, it took a minute for them to settle down and get operations back. When everybody came back into the unit, that's when I became aware of the incident. Well, it turned out this dude's stick was a rat. And credit to the native mob, them youngsters that came on the line, when they got word back from their big homies out of Minnesota saying that dude was a rat, they went and handled it. They went out to wreck, tricked them out to wreck like they was kicking it. Now, Stick is a big-ass dude. He's over 6'2", probably like 6'4", but he looks kind of goofy because he has a longer torso. His torso is longer than his legs, so he looks funny, but he's a tall-ass dude. So they had these two youngsters, two other natives who were like half his size. But, it don't matter the size of the dog. You heard the saying before, what matters is the size of the fight in the dog. And what they told me was they rushed him. One of them, it's hard to fight two people if one of them's got you wrapped up. When you're fighting two people, you got to have your back to the wall and you got to keep your limbs moving. And if someone try to wrap you up, because when they wrap you up, they put their arms around you and their head is on your hip, trying to take you down. A lot of people's natural instinct is to try to hook under the dude's arm and try to pry him off of you. But when you do that, both your hand is going to be occupied while there's a second person just taking off on you without any resistance. So if you're ever in this situation, if somebody rushes you, a takedown is the same way. It's a wrestling takedown. They shoot at you. They try to wrap their arms around your feet. They put their head next to your hip and try to pivot you and go you on the ground. So when someone shoots at you like that to try to take you down, you have to resist the natural instinct to try to hook your arm under theirs and pry them off. The best way to get somebody off you when they're shooting at you like that, split second, the head's gonna be on your hip. Grab your hand, you have this thumb right here, you stick in his eye. Split second, when they shoot, you grab him, stick in the eye, and with that, you push it all in, and pull out. I promise you he's gonna let go. Because if you don't, that second guy's gonna get you. And the second guy got him because his natural instinct was trying to throw off the first dude. That's how I get him. They got him on the ground. And they said after that, one of the native mob youngster was just jumping on his head like a trampoline. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But they fucked him all the way off. I mean, you have a 170-pound native dude, any dude, 170 pounds, hell, 150 pounds, jumping on your head like a trampoline, it's gonna cause a lot of damage. And he was really fucked up. They came, put him on a stretcher, rolled him out, locked up the two natives, and that was that. Well, let's fast forward to about 3 years now, literally 3 years later. Let's fast forward 3 years later, almost 4 years later, I end up going to the SHU for something, which I will get to when we get that far in. But when I got to the SHU, the two youngsters that, I haven't seen them in 3 years, in 2 years. I don't know what happened to them. I thought they got shipped out or whatever. I don't hear nothing because they're not, the people on the yard is taking care of them or whatever. I'm not, we're not hooked up like that. So doing my time and the time that passed by, I forgot about them. I don't remember them because there's so many people coming through the system in and out. Bus comes every week. Bus leave every week, So when I get to the SHU, somebody hollered at me from upstairs, because in the shoe, it's 2 levels, but you could talk to each other through the vent or through the sink. And when somebody comes to your shoe, there's always somebody that can see who it is, and they let everybody else know, oh, I think it's a native. Oh, I think it's a black. Oh, he looks like a GD. Oh, he looks like a Crip. Oh, it's the white boys. Letting the people on the tier know what's going on in the yard. It's just, we're all starving for information. We're just sitting in the cell, and it's a way to entertain ourselves and get some information. So when I come into the shoe, people already know that who I am, because I've been there at this time for about 3 years. And so my name rings through the hallway, and the native upstairs is like, hey, that's you, Mesa? I said, yeah, what's up? Hey, it's me, so-and-so. And like, again, I ain't seen him in like 2 or 3 years since that incident, since they jumped on that dude. I was like, damn, you still back here? He's like, yeah, man, we're going to court. I was like, what? They got charged. They got charged for aggravated assault, serious bodily injury on this dude. That was a rat. And they were looking up to 7 years, because when you go back to court, they have a thing called guideline with your criminal history, with points that starts off depending on what crime you commit. And that's how they determine how many months, how many years you get. So if you're already in the penitentiary, you already know you have a criminal history. So now you catch this case, assault, which most penitentiary that I've been to, unless the dude died, they don't even care, But in the last 10 years, there's been people catching cases for stabbing people, for stomping somebody out on the yard. And it was really fucked up in Florence. Florence, you're getting charged. There's no ifs and ands about it. The captain, the black dude that was a captain in Florence, when he gave the speech, he said, we have a really good rapport with the FBI department out here in Colorado. Letting you know, hey, we're going to charge you. But these youngsters, they signed up for this. They're a member of the native mob. So they're going to be soldiers for that organization forever until they climb up the ranks. And the hit was sent down, and they fulfilled it. And now, because one of the youngsters, I think he only had like 5 years. He just came in, brand new, never been in the penitentiary before, had like 5-6 years. But when I went to his shoe, he was telling me they've been back here for over 2 years going to court because they got charged for the assault. And the reason they charged him, because of the level of the injury. Like, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty positive the dude that they were stomping on isn't quite right in the head again. Like, how can you be if you got stomped on by a grown-ass man 10, 12 times, no resistance, But these kids signing up with what they signed up with. This is going to be their life until they exit, if they ever exit the penitentiary. Especially now, people are getting charged for stabbings, for assault. I shared with you in some prior videos about a white guy named Lonnie Case. He booted a dude in a USP on the East Coast somewhere. Steel-toe boots that they issue us. Kicked the dude a few times in the head. I don't know the severity of the injuries, but he got 10 years for it. I've known people that's killed people in a USP 10, 15 years ago and got less than 10 years. When the blood dude in Atwater killed killed Black, the other blood, that was Bryson's friend that lived in Bryson's unit, and later on I got to know him, became my friend. When that blood dude jumped on Black's chest, caved it, killed him, he took a plea for 7 years. But he already had a life sentence. He just came out of 80X, so in reality, it was just freebie. But yeah, right now in the penitentiary, in the USP, man, they charging you. And if you go there and you feel like you need to sign up with an organization just because because a lot of people know they got a lot to do, a lot of time. So they feel the best way for them to do the time is to sign up with somebody instead of just walking on their own, because when you're on your own, there's a lot more potential issues, potential problems. So these dudes, they sign up with these organizations, not knowing that, or knowing, or whatever. Some of them are willing to commit themselves to it. But a lot of them aren't 100% in, but then they find themselves on missions. Then they find themselves catching cases. Then some of them, maybe they had a 20-year bid, but now they're never coming home. I repeat all the time, man. Once you're behind that wall, there's no guarantee that you'll make it back out. There's so much stuff that can potentially happen in there while you're in there, whether you're in there for a year or 100 years. The USP is a death trap, period. Welcome to the USP.